What's going on, everybody? So today we're talking followers and some ways to equip them, especially throughout the whole game, but especially in these first couple of days, this first week, these first 2 weeks when you need a lot of resources to keep on running. We're going to be focusing on Greater Rift speed running and Nephilim T16 running. This is going to help you get your Greater Rift keys, a lot of your resources that you need to manage, and of course, actually help you push maybe a little bit further and keep you safe, especially if you're on hardcore, which, mind you, that is a super valuable thing to why you want a follower, which we'll go over in just a moment. But this is basically to help you in both those areas of the game. We have 2 separate builds for speedrunning Greater Rifts and Nephilim Rifts T16, so let's get into it. All right, so pulling up the Enchantress here, I almost always go with the Enchantress. Why? Because she actually has this thing called Fate's Lapse. When you take fatal damage, you're going to be empowered to move through time, slowing enemy movement, attack speed, and projectiles for 3.25 seconds to avoid death based on the Enchantress's intelligence. This skill right here is massive for any hardcore player. It basically gives you a second cheat death as long as your follower is alive. Now, this is a key part to this. Anything that's on your follower, anything that has skill that your follower does, they need to be alive for it to be active, which is very important. Now, as for the other skills here and what you could choose, there's a couple of options. I decided to go with Amplification. It's going to increase your static elemental damage based on the Enchantress's intelligence. This is critical. This means that you want as much intelligence as you can. Now, some of the other followers like the Scoundrel and the Templar can offer you different things. We're focusing on the Enchantress here because, again, if you're hardcore, I just recommend running Enchantress all the time because of the Fate's Lapse. It's really gonna save you, especially if you are someone that, might be on the more riskier side. But even if you're softcore, you could save some time with this as well. Then we went with Erosion here. Why? This is going to actually have us potentially affect a field that's going to have enemies take increased damage. This one right here can potentially reduce damage. I prefer to go with the little bit of damage increase. And then we have Charm. This is going to basically allow you to charm an enemy to fight for you, which is very interesting. So that's the skills here. Let's talk about equipment. So as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be massively increasing our value in T16 farming through running specific builds here. First off, I highly recommend you run the focus that prevents your Enchantress from dying. This can actually happen quite often. If you get her toughness high enough, you can actually run the other one called Hand of the Prophet to give her access to every skill here, which is very powerful as well. Either way, all skills, if she's tanky enough, which again, you can get through her gear here, or running the other skill or all of your focus that's going to prevent her from dying. Now, what we're going to want to do is equip her with pieces that are going to have emanate buffs. So you can see wrong way, over there. Over there, we can see the shrines and pylons will spawn an enemy champion, and then in the parentheses it says emanates. What that means is that even though it's on your follower, it's going to apply to everyone around you, which is basically you in this case, right? So when you are using this, now, when you click on a shrine or pylon, you are going to spawn an enemy champion, even though it's not on you. This is very important. So when you're running speedrunning Nephilim Rift T16s, you really want this to basically speed them up. You're gonna pick up, pop a pylon, pop a shrine, boom, you instantly get more orbs, you instantly get a champion, and you get some more loot. This is very nice. The second thing that you could potentially run is Avarice Band. Now, I actually am not running Avarice Band because I'm running a little bit more of a tanky setup because I don't have the stats yet. But let me just see if I can find an Avarice Band. I think I kept one here, somewhere around here. Yeah, so Avarice Band, every single time we pick up gold, you're going to increase that gold and health pickup radius, which emanates. Guess what? You could stack this with like Warzeshians. Whenever we destroy a wreckable object, we're going to gain a short burst of speed, and then things like gold skin, and now we get destroy objects, we're speeding up, we're getting the gold skin, which is getting more gold, which is now increasing our gold radius. It's really nice comboing together. With on top of that ring, we're going to want to typically run a Ring of Royal Grandeur. I unfortunately have been running so many Act 1 bounties. You guys do not understand how many Act 1 bounties I've run, and I've been terribly unlucky, and I've only gotten 2 rings. I have to go run Act 1 bounties to get another Ring of Royal Grandeur, but the reason why we're doing that is because we want to run 2 different set effects. We want to run Kane's set. We want to run the legs and boots of Kane's. Why? When we do T16 rifts, we're going to get a 25% chance to get an extra one. This is massive. Okay, massive for you guys to basically speed up the amount of keys you're acquiring per hour, which of course is going to lead to bonus XP because you can run more greater rifts. The second set is going to be the Sage's set. Now I recommend you guys run the belt and the helmet of this one. With Sage's, we're going to double the amount of Death's Breath that we're dropping. That is massive, okay? This is super, super impactful for early game. On top of that, we want to run the highest weapon and shield. It's going to give us the highest toughness and damage, although it doesn't really matter a crazy amount. As for gloves, I highly recommend you guys pick up a Gloves of Worship. This is going to basically give our shrine effects lasting 10 minutes. So now we have basically permanent shrine effects. On top of that, running a helmet here in the Sage's set, and then putting a ruby in it, kind of like I have over, let me just put myself over here for a second. In the Visit share, you can see that I actually have the experience bonus. We're actually going to take benefit from that, even though it's on our follower. Okay, I believe it's like comes out to like 41% at a max ruby, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's like 20 to 41%. Regardless, you want to put a ruby in there so that you can get some extra value out of that effect for extra XP for yourself. Okay. Then we also want to run Flavor of Time because pylon effects will last twice as long. So now we have both with Gloves of Worship, shrine effects are going to last 10 minutes and pylon effects are going to last twice as long. So that's going to be your T16 farming setup. Let's talk about the GR speedrunning setup. So for the GR speedrunning setup, you're going to want to have items that actually affect the enemies. So the first thing here is we still want our ruby, but we actually tend to want to run something like Ice Climber so they don't get stuck. We don't really particularly care about Canes or Sages because we're not going to be running, you know, through the rifts and getting Death's Breath and getting, you know, those extra keys because it's not possible to drop greater rift keystones. But something like, for example, Oculus Ring, creating it has a chance to create an area of focus power on killing a monster. It's going to increase by 81% while damaging anything in that area. So if you're standing in that area that they've created, you're going to increase the damage that you're dealing. This is massive. Okay. Not only that, but something like Unity, you can wear a Unity yourself and then split the damage that you take between yourself and the follower. This means that something like, you know, all the skills running focus, not applicable. You need to make sure they have the focus that prevents them from dying because you always want them alive. Ice Climbers is just to help them to basically not get frozen, not get slowed down a ton, okay? On top of that, something like in the helmet, Blind Faith to help you blind enemies. As the belts, something like the Cord of the Sherma isn't actually that bad because you're gonna, again, have a chance to apply that blows blinds and things like that. But as for the bracers, gloves, and amulet, it's going to remain relatively the same. You want to pick up those Gloves of Worship so we have extra shrine effects lasting for 10 minutes. The pylons and shrines will spawn an enemy champion, again speeding up your greater rifts. And then your Flavor of Time is going to extend those pylon effects. As for chest piece, you can run Goldskin. I think that's totally a fine one to run. Or you could just run a tankier piece. Something like, I don't know, a set piece that has triple gem slot. Why? Well, because you can actually add on for the Enchantress extra intelligence, or if you're running the Scoundrel, extra dexterity, and then you get extra effectiveness in your GR solo speedrunning. That's actually pretty impactful. Again, if you guys don't have like a set piece and you don't want to put gems in there because, you know, maybe they're too costly or whatever, and you already have enough intelligence, then maybe you just run Goldskin. But getting a set piece like what I have on my character right now, putting it on your follower and getting those gems in there is going to give them extra intelligence, and that's going to affect the extra static elemental damage that we're getting. It's going to speed up or extend the cheat death effect. It's also going to, you know, potentially just basically amplify all of her skills. That's what this is for. And if you're running the Scoundrel, which is arguably a little bit better for GR solo speeds, you can even increase potentially the crit chance. So that's super, super nice. lots of different options for the skills, but basically we don't care about gold dropping. We don't care about double death spreads. We don't care about these things that are meant to help us progress. We purely care about getting stronger for the GR solo speeds, running the ruby in the helmet, and then things that basically help us survive or help us push a little bit further to make it quicker. That's going to be your complete guide to the follower in season 28. I know this is something that a lot of people are very curious about, just because, well, a lot of people are jumping into the game for the first time because of the new season 28. So hopefully this helps, guys. And if it did, be sure to like the video, sub to the channel. If I forgot anything, let me know in the comment section down below if you guys think I'm missing a strategy, or maybe you have something that I didn't mention. Love to hear it, and I'll see you all tomorrow.